So it's a bit early in the morning. I make my way down to a place of business to go change out a flyer advertisement. Her topic is 69, and I'm talking about what's been going on with Tekashi. Very seldom do I go on live, and I figured, you know what? Man, it's a great time to go on live. I will leave this up as a rebroadcast. And I figured I'll break it down and give my thoughts on Tekashi and what this whole ordeal is going, and give, my proper perspective as a street cat who came from a certain lifestyle, and what I think Tekashi, why he's doing this. Now, obviously, Tekashi for the next several days will be testifying against the 9 Treyway Bloods, right? A lot of people are giving him backlash because, you were popping that gangster shit, that rah-rah shit, and when it got too heavy and too real, you gave up people, quote-unquote, snitching. I personally don't think what people know what snitching is, or the actual definition of snitching. So I will break it down to you, right? Well, first, let's get Tekashi out the way, right? I got 2 different scenarios how I look at the whole Tekashi thing. One side is this, right? I believe he always wanted to be in music, and that he didn't come from the streets, so he didn't know how to get into music. So you take somebody that's not from the streets, put them with somebody that is from the streets who is in music, it works hand in hand. Now, what a lot of people don't know, and this is public knowledge, this is information that's always been out there, what I'm about to say. The Bloods always ran the music industry with the rap culture because of Suge Knight. Right? So the Bloods have an easier access to getting into music. So you go to the second gangland, which is California. One of the original originator of the Bloods, he knew he was going to have rappers that were going to want to be in the rap game. And in order to survive the rap game, you have to pay a certain amount of fee of money to join the Bloods in the rap industry without getting drummed in. You pay 25 racks. You have to break that, and they got to break that up amongst the remaining Bloods to give you your pass, plus your entourage that was given to you. So a lot of the rappers that enter into the game who claim to be a Blood are actually fake. There's a whole documentary and interview about this. Now, there used to be a time when gangs were first started up, right? Starting with the Bloods and the Crips. Bloods and the Crips came from the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers was to help protect the black community against crooked cops and people that wanted to sell drugs. They didn't want that in their community. Once the Black Panthers broke and split it up during the Black Riot, or after the Black Riot movement, You had one that went to East LA, and then you had one that went to South Compton. The word blood means family. We all stand together, we all live together, we all die together, we all look out for each other. We blood, so we family. They still held the original code of what the Black Panthers stood for, was to help others. The same thing with the Crips, right? Community, progress, and service. In other words, if you come fucking around with us, you fuck with all of us, we all stand together, we all family. That's what Crips stands for. Well, eventually the 80s came along. What was the crack era, the cocaine era? Money plays a big role. You know, money makes people greedy. So what did they do? You had the underseers decided, you know what? We don't like these older OGs anymore. So let's go ahead and get them knocked. Let's go ahead and get them out the picture, right? So we can bring in some money. What a lot of people don't know, your biggest real gangsters from the mafia era, even till the blood and the Crip era, some of your biggest gangsters in the world were snitches. We're talking to police so they can give up information, so they can get the competition out the picture, so they can expand on their turf. That's real. Now, the last real big remaining gang creator was the person that created, I think, the Rolling 60s. Yes, he was into men. He admitted that. But because the Rolling 60s, right, and the Gangster Disciples were once partners and believe in doing good, right, for people, they decided to get rid of the creator of the Rolling 60s because his underlings found him a threat because they didn't like him doing good. So they made sure he got knocked and got put away for life. And I talked about this before with the Kodak situation that fits perfectly in with the Tekashi situation, right? If I'm the breadwinner and I have an entourage, right, with me, if I get jammed up, it's up to one of my entourage to take the fall. I want to repeat that again. If I get jammed up, right, and I'm the main breadwinner, it is up to one of my people, my entourage, to take the fall, to take the blame. Because if the main breadwinner gets all the way jammed up, the money stops coming in, which means people don't get paid. Real talk. So somebody has to take the fall from the entourage. And they ain't gotta worry because the main breadwinner is going to take care of their jail bond, their court cost, their probation cost, get them a lawyer, do what they can for them, right? Even to take care of their family. That seems to be the problem because no one lives by that anymore. So a lot of it's jealousy. They see somebody who's the main breadwinner and the little homies, you know, they're supposed to be in your entourage, they get jealous. What did they get jealous of? Simple. They get jealous by doing this. Okay, he's making money. I don't like that. We want to make money. So let's get him out of here so we can get some money. That falls into the Tekashi thing. However, there's more to it. Tekashi doesn't come from that. As a matter of fact, he ain't never came from a broken home. They gave him his storyline. They gave him his image. He had to take that ball, per se, and run with it. Now, because of that, he was making extreme amounts of money. He had to break it off amongst the Treyway Bloods with his agreement. Well, eventually, because he was becoming way too big, way too fast, they looked at him and said, you know what? We don't like this. Let's get him jammed up so we can get some money. They were already getting money because to the average person, to the average gangbanger, getting splitted $2,000 to $3,000 a piece in your pocket alone is quite a good majority of money to the average person, to that average gangbanger. Right? Now, the gangs, they didn't have money, but they had the power, right? They had the guns, they had the numbers. So, they threatened, and this is how shit really goes. They threatened his family, saying, look, if you don't do what we tell you to do, your mother, your baby mama, your child, and your place will be shot up at, and we'll kill your people. And then we'll kill you. So he had to do what he said because he didn't want his family to be hurt. Now, where does the baby mama fit in this? Well, we all know how we all know that one ex-bitter baby mama, right? Who definitely be a hoe, who definitely be fucking the ops, right? She gonna throw her baby daddy underneath the bus. Because the baby mama is gonna know a lot about the baby daddy. The baby mama was there. So it should be no surprise to people that Tekashi's baby mama decided to throw her baby daddy underneath the bus. And plus, I don't think anybody really remembers, but she done an interview saying, yeah, I'm going to testify against him. You're going to testify against your ex-baby daddy because he ain't doing his part for child support and taking care of his kid, allegedly. Right? Now, because of that and everything that was going on, Tekashi pays taxes. He's a citizen. So once he found a door, per se, an exit, yeah, he decided to, quote-unquote, snitch so he can get rid and away from all these people that was causing harm to him and to his family, because he didn't want it no more. And that was the only way for him to get out of it. That was his opportunity. Okay? Now, the other part of the coin, and this is a theory of mine, right? Tekashi came out of nowhere when he first started. Like, could some say he was an industry plant? Yeah. But I want people to pay attention to this theory of mine, right? Tekashi came out of nowhere. The way he dressed at times was dressed privileged, if you will. The first so-called case that he said he caught, right, was supposed to be for... Now, I believe he was planted there because I believe the cops knew some things that were going on with a certain group of people. So they's like, we need you to be undercover. Find out what you can about this group of people so we can take them down. Right? Boom. He did just that. So he never got locked up because I believe he was undercover. Now, I want people to really listen to me now, because this goes into my theory a bit more, right? This goes into my theory a bit more. So, we all know about the 9 Treyway Bloods, right? That they were already being investigated way before tekashi, right? The thing is, the feds needed evidence to put the 9 Trey Bloods away. So, I believe they reached out to this agent, which is Tekashi. They said, look, we're going to plant you in this gang. We're going to need you to play this role of you wanting to be an upcoming rapper, because these gangs members that we're investigating, they're in music. So they gave him a storyline. This is going to be your fake name, Daniel Hernandez. A lot of people are trying to figure out where this guy came from, right? He said he grew up in such and such area, but nobody can ever recall him living in whatever area he claimed to live in, right? Okay. The baby mama comes out of nowhere. It's like, you know what? You need somebody else to help you with this, who I believe to also be an undercover agent, which is the ex-baby mama, who was planted there to play the role as the baby mama, right? So, why wasn't Tekashi and his baby mama jammed up before? Man, it's because I personally believe that they are actually federal undercover agents themselves to bring down the 9 Trey Bloods, which ended up with them doing that, collecting the evidence they needed to bring them down. Now, let's go into the tattoos, right? We've seen several videos when he was cammed up with academics, right? Yeah, now, there is actually strong makeup in this world that you can use for designing if you get the right makeup artist, to where you can wear those designs and you can be hot and sweaty and they'll never come off. They'll never sweat off at all. But after a while, yes, you could take it off. And I do believe what we were seeing was his real face without the tattoos, because they weren't really there. They weren't really there, right? Now, it's like if you get tattoos on your face and you have to cover them up, they do have good brand of makeup out there that covers those up so much to where if you're doing, for example, there's this woman who has lipstick on, right? And it's a porn video. It's a porn movie video, right? She's out there giving head like a motherfucker. Her lipstick's all nice and neat and not coming off. It's because she got the good, strong makeup brand. That's just an example. So I believe, personally, what we see the whole tattoos are strong makeup designs that ain't gonna be coming off. Now, nobody can recall or hear anything coming out of prison about Tekashi being in there, because he's not in there. I personally believe he is an undercover federal agent who was planted to take down the 9 Trey Bloods, and his baby mama, or the woman that claims to be his baby mama, is also an undercover federal agent. which makes sense if you think about it. Again, this is just a theory of mine. After this is said and done, after all of this is said and done, we'll get a couple more last interviews of this fake Tekashi character. Then after that, he'll go away, and there won't be no 69 or Dander Hernandez that ever existed. And that's what I personally believe as my theory, is that I believe tekashi69, aka Dander Hernandez, is a make-up character, and whoever his real name is and whoever the real name is of the person that's supposed to play the baby mama are actually undercover federal agents who are planted inside the gang, who came out of nowhere in left field, got all the inside information to bring down this organization. It makes sense. If you think about it, it makes sense, right? Now, I'm finna describe the whole ordeal about snitching. Okay? I'm finna describe the whole ordeal about snitching. A lot of people get the word snitching confused on what it is. I broke this down in a video that I have yet to post that I'm saving, just in case. Those who've been following me know my feud with a certain somebody. Right. It's a playlist that you guys can check out on this channel. The title will stand out. However, I'm going to break down snitching. What falls into the street category of that as well. If you are a regular American citizen, a regular civilian who worked a 9 to 5, who makes minimum wage or makes a decent amount of income, right? Living every 2 weeks from your paycheck, day by day working, you know, who's not involved in the street life, who never done drugs, who never sold drugs, right? Somebody who never gang banged, someone who pays their taxes, and if something happens to you, you do have the right to tell the authorities because you're a tax-paying American citizen. Doesn't make you a snitch. Now, if you are one of the lucky ones who survived the streets, one of the lucky ones who got out the game the right way, somebody who ended up turning into a civilian who pays taxes but who has a strong and a dark past reputation of being a banger, of being a drug dealer, and you answered for your crimes and your sins, and you've been on the straight and narrow for so many years, right, after everything, and you find yourself jammed up in something, you do have the right to tell authorities. You do. Because you know you're doing the right thing after you turned your life around. You're paying taxes. You know, you're no longer that human being. You've been on the straight and narrow for years. And the last thing you want to do is find yourself in a situation to where you're going to get in trouble. So, with you doing the right thing, that doesn't make you a snitch. It doesn't. Because you're an American citizen who pays taxes. You did answer for a lot of stuff that you did. Now, if you're a gangbanger, a thug, somebody that's claiming to bang, somebody that's claiming to slang drugs, right? Let me tell you something. If you live next to a cop, if you so happen to talk to an SO officer or a cop, if you just so happen to be dry snitching or snitching on oneself, giving out information, right? Even as far as joining the military, those that don't know, when you join the military and you do get offered and get recruited to the police force, a lot of military services does have something to do with the police force. those who have family members like myself who joined the services, got offered a position for the police force, they usually join. It's public knowledge out there, right? So if you're doing that, okay, or let's also say you get a job working in the prison or in the jail as a correctional control officer, right? Or a rent-a-cop or a security guard. You are, and that does make you a snitch. All the make you a snitch, an informant, a fed. Even if you claim to be a dirty cop of some sort, it doesn't matter, because in the end you're going to throw people underneath the bus to save your ass. That makes you a snitch. That makes you a snitch. Now, same thing with games. With me being my age, which is like 30, right? With what I'm seeing now, with today's generation, even with a lot of the minimum older OGs, stuff has gotten backwards. I'm starting to see from biker gangs to street gangs. Protect a rat, protect a snitch, to keep the snitch. That tells me that the members in that group are not only protecting the snitch, but are also pussy and snitches themselves. And that's real. Now, the truth of reality is, at the end of the day, does anybody care if somebody's a snitch or not? In today's time, no. Because those rules and those codes and them standards no longer apply. Which goes into why we accept Rick Ross. Right? Why we accept Tekashi. Why we accept T.I. I know what you're saying. What do y'all mean T.I. snitch? I know an SRO officer that is a dirty cop. I do. He has access to the system. He's always looking up information about folks, their background, people that he knows and people that he heard of, to have information on them, right? Now, I knew the way that he was, but as long as you don't get me jammed up in anything and try to, throw me underneath the bus or report me in to have me arrested because you know things about me, and we ain't got no problems. I had seen the files that he pulled up on T.I. T.I. gave up a lot of people that he knew, especially down in the Atlanta Bankhead area. And those outside of the area within the industry who provide guns. Because of that, he did snitch on people, which ended up helping him get out of prison early, only for about a year's time, and plus paid a certain amount of money. Yeah. So when you see a lot of comments that people say T.I.'s a snitch or snitch T.I., it's because those are actually the family members of the people that he snitched on to save his ass. So yes, T.I. is not only a snitch, but he's also a hypocrite as well. But yet, we still accept him. Right? We still accept him. We do. We still accept him. Which goes into my conclusion of saying this. We do accept others. Why? Because today's time, we don't care about none of that stuff. It's no longer how it used to be. There's none of the same rules, regulations, and codes. Just like checking in. Who checks in anymore? And like, what is a check-in? Because what can these people truly do? These are people that still live like bums, right? I'm going to keep it real with this. You know, I used to be an ex-gangbanger. An ex-street cat that really came from some shit. I got out of the game the right way because I had my respect and my reputation and my stripes, to where I got the permission and the blessing to leave. The blessing to leave. If you wanted to get out, yes, you do have to earn yours. And you got a good enough honor, reputation amongst your fellow members in the streets, you got the blessing to leave. Which, in other words, nobody can touch you, nobody can hurt you, nobody can dump you, nobody can kill you. Now, yes, you're going to have those that ain't going to like it, but they know if they break those codes and those rules or those regulations, that they get dealt with. Now, because of that, with that part being said, right, a lot of these people who claim, who you see on the hood DVDs or now on the, you know, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, they don't really have power like that. They can't do nothing because a good majority of them are bums. And they lay around to get high, right? And a lot of them take, what, 20%, which is around 25,000. You gotta split a certain amount of money, not the person giving the money, but once you give the money, the so-called leader has to find a way to split that to make it even amongst his members. And that ain't always gonna be the case. That's why you always hear about the main head leader getting knocked, because of his underlings are jealous. So there really is no such thing as checking in at all. Now, let's take a look at it like this, right? If I'm the main head breadwinner, right? And I go to a certain state and I'm on the road, and they like, look, man, you gotta check in with us, right? First, I need to know how are you living? How many people you got with you? And if you look like a bum, and you saying some shit like that, and you just showing little miniature guns, and everyone carries one clip in gangs, guess what? I'm not gonna check in, because since I'm the person with the money, I can to make an example, right? I can put $1,000 on one person's head, and I guarantee you, your dogs will turn quick on you like a motherfucker to kill you. For that $1,000, it will turn into a war zone. Matter of fact, let's say, you know what? Put 500 down. It will still turn into a war zone. Your own dogs will turn on you for so much amount of money, for any amount of money. Right? Or let's say you the biggest thug, the biggest gangbanger in the streets, right? Okay, a lot of artists may know you, and then you're trying to tell somebody else to check in. Okay, your posse may have some guns, may have a couple of clips, may get a few thousand here and there, right? Also depending on how you're living, because if you're still living like a bum, right? Then guess what? I'll put 5,000 on the leader's head, and then not only will your life be on the line, but your own dogs around you will turn on you quick like hell and turn into a war zone to get that 5,000. See what I'm saying? So let's say after Tekashi's done, right? Let's say he was. Let's ignore my theory that I gave about him being an undercover federal agent. All right, let's ignore that right now. Let's play with the first half that I discussed earlier, right? All the 9 Trey members, they ain't got money. They don't. They're broke. Shotty's broke. You're gonna want to pick out the top 3 people, right? The Godfather, the underboss, which is Shotty, and then the right-hand man. Tekashi, let's say he does get sentenced to, after everything, right, 5 years, because what he's doing, that's pretty much how much time he'll get, to be real with you. Probably 3 at the most. But let's say why he's in there, right? After everything, and his sentence is only 5 years, and he'll get out in 3, right? Why he's sitting in there? Because he's the main breadwinner, the main head honcho, right? He's still getting money, still getting paid from his music, right? He's still getting paid from his music. Let's say, okay, I want to put 10 racks, which is $10,000, on these 3 people's heads while in prison. You know how quick a war zone it will turn out to be in prison? Because the people in those facilities, they'll hear about, oh shit, 10,000 for this nigga head? Alright, bet. Somebody will end up getting them. Not gonna know who. And then there'll be 10,000 put on this person's book so they can get some commentary and use the phone. So their life will be on the line so damn much and so scarce because you hear about a total of what? $30,000 for 3 people's heads? 10,000 apiece? Oh shit, it's gonna turn into a war zone. So in the end, if you think about it, Tekashi holds that power because he has money. Money talks, bullshit walks. Why he been in there for almost a year, right? Yes, he could have chose to put money on these 3 people's heads way before the trial, way before everything got linked out, and they would have ended up dead. Because think about it, there's people in the penitentiary system that can use that type of money to survive for a good while. So in the end, Tekashi really holds that power. Now, let's say once he gets out, right? Let's say he doesn't get any time at all. They'll give him time served or everything while the others are locked up, right? Let's say in the outside world, Tekashi gets a hold of somebody on the inside and say, you know what? I want to put 10,000 apiece on both of these people's heads, on all 3 of these people's heads, right? The word gets put out. They're going to get them no matter what, because there's 30 racks on the line for 10,000 apiece. So it definitely turned into a war zone. So if you literally think about it, Tekashi holds that power in his hands. Now, because he doesn't come from that, he's not going to want to do it. He's going to want to see justice served the right way. I say the right way because going back to my theory, if you take a look back at the Vlad interview, he was in school for being a lawyer, and his baby mama said he helped bust up a small group of weed sellers who were selling weed because he sold to a cop that knew Tekashi was at school for being a lawyer. So yes, you know, that also adds on to the theory as well for him being an undercover federal agent. But at the same time, if you look at it, if he wanted to, inside the system, outside of the system, he can put some money on all three of those people's heads, to all four of them, while they locked up. And I guarantee you, with a total of $40,000, with $10,000 a piece on someone's head, that will turn into a war zone quick in prison. And somebody's going to eventually end up getting them. Now, again, the only reason why it hasn't happened, Tekashi ain't from that lifestyle. That's why it hasn't happened. But don't be surprised one day if you guys hear about one of these so-called gang members get stabbed up, and then the next thing you hear about, some money just got put on somebody's books for an X amount of dollars. Oh, because there's a guaranteed chance that it was Tekashi that put that money on those people's heads. That's real talk. You guys got to really think about it. Who holds the real power in this situation? The gang members or Tekashi? Because who do you think the people are going to follow who has money, who has the power to get things done? They're going to follow Tekashi. They're going to follow him. Hell, the streets ain't going to care if he cooperated, who gave up people. No, they're going to follow him, man, because, that dude has the money. He's still receiving money while he locked up. Let's not mess with him because he holds that power. Like I said, he can choose to get four out of the three main people touched who he testified against while in prison. I don't think people truly understand, man. I don't think people truly understand. I seen some shit when I was locked up before for just $50 alone on somebody's head. And it turned into a fucking war zone. Way in the system, man. There was some shit, many years ago in this town. Somebody put $15,000 on somebody. That shit turned into a fucking war zone quick. I understand 15,000 may not sound much to the person that has money, but to the average person, that's money right there. So like I said, if you think about it, Tekashi really holds that power, and if he wanted to, he could say, you know what, there's 40,000 right here, that's 10,000 apiece on these four people's heads. The system, I guarantee you, inside, I don't think you guys understand, inside the holding cells, inside the pods, inside those units, word, okay, it's going to turn into a whole fucking war zone, because them 4 out of 3 people, they gonna have to fight to survive. They really gonna have to get down for this. You hear about 10,000 on a motherfucker head? I guarantee you, not just your drug dealers in there, not just your average person that's locked in there, not just a serial killer, not just a rapist, not just a gangbanger, but hell, even the correctional control officers themselves might even want a piece of that. 10,000 for a nigga head? Wait a second, how much in total? 40,000? 40 racks? Oh, okay. He can do that. He actually holds the power in this. Even after he gets out, he can decide to say, you know what? I got 40,000 total, $10,000 a piece on these 4 people's heads. Oh shit, it's gonna turn into a fucking war zone. I don't think people truly understand. Motherfuckers will kill you over any amounts of money. Even if you the highest gang-banging thug locked up, once there's a certain price on your head, you are no longer safe. Even your own homies will say, you know what, I need some of that money right there. yo, let's get him. Shit. That's real talk. I don't think people understand. Tekashi holds the power. And everything I broke down in this live stream that will be posted on this YouTube channel today, this is real shit that I'm saying, man. Real shit. Don't think just because Tekashi's testifying extension that makes it that you know that's gonna make him a pussy. Nah, but the money he got, yeah, he can decide to do that. Even with him being, let's say, even if he was an undercover federal agent like I described before in this video, that was part of my theory, right? Let's say this stuff bugs him so much that he decides to put the hit on them anyways. Ain't nobody gonna know who put the hit on because he already long gone. He already long gone. So yeah, you know, this is pretty much my outlook on the whole tekashi69 deal. You know, on all three of those things. From him, you know, not being from the streets, to him probably being an undercover federal agent who was planted to help take down the gang, to even being inside or even outside holding that power in his hands to put 10,000 racks on somebody's head. You know, my real street cats who really come from that shit, the people who see this video who really been, you know, locked up, who's did time like me, we all seen something like that happen for any amount of money. And the average person who sees this, who may want to say some shit, I don't think you guys understand how powerful money truly can be. I don't think you guys truly understand, especially with Tekashi. Because if he really wanted to, he can do that. I guarantee it. Oh, I guarantee it. Because I know if I was in there, right, and I hear about 10,000 being put on Shotty's head, oh, you best believe I'm gonna be one of those people that's gonna be out there on that field, so to speak, wanting to poke up Shotty for them 10 racks. I may get time added on, but as long as I get them 10 racks, oh, you best believe I'll be good for a while. So yeah, I'm finna end it here. I hope you guys enjoy.